Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong, and I'm working in a journal that I'm going to be listing soon. It's morning time, and I have my coffee out in the workshop. I've got a lot to do today, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to edit this video. So I thought I would try to be really careful and stay on track and just make it a video that I can upload right to the channel. What have I got pulled out here? I was going to make a little fabric bookmark that can go in the middle of the journal, and I'll show you the whole journal. But this is a piece of cotton that I've been using to soak up extra ink that's running around. So it's nice and distressed. I had this metal leaf charm that I sewed to the top. And now what am I doing? I just wanted to see how it will work. Let's make sure that ink is okay. It doesn't have to be really dark, but we at least want to be able to read it. I thought it would be cute to have a bookmark that says "You are here," kind of like the maps in the malls. Thank you for all the wonderful comments about the workshop. I truly appreciate it. I do love it out here, and I waited a long time to have a place like this. Jason is, what is the word? He is pretty intuitive, or he's observant. And when I opened the little store in the railroad caboose called Sidetracked, sorry, let me get some more stamps. He knew that that was one of my favorite places ever. And I really loved that. Like, I had a job full-time that I would work during the week. And then on the weekends, I would open Sidetracked. I would be open all day Saturday and then Sunday afternoon. And sometimes, like if I was off work or had some time during the week, I would open during the week as well. But I loved it. I loved being in there. It was a lot like my workshop, but it was bigger. If you can imagine a whole caboose filled with things like this. And I had a couple of clothing racks, so right in the center of the caboose, where you can look up and all the windows are around at the top, I had a long bar installed on either side where I could hang vintage clothes. So it was pretty amazing in there, but the reason I closed it, and I know I've mentioned this before, but you might not have heard it, the whole piece of property that my shop was on, I would say 40 years ago, it was a really hopping place, as they would say. There were little rides for the kids and things like that, and this man who lived in the town of Hillsboro had a vision of just like a family shopping area with food, and there were all of these antique stores, and antiques were the big thing in that little shopping center. So I like that. I like the way that turned out. And it was really popular for a long time, but then, you know, fast forward, things are changing, jobs have changed, the area has changed, and it just kind of fell into disrepair. And it was under contract to be sold a lot of the time, you know, and it was not good for business. The owners were wanting to sell it, so they would get in negotiations, and word would travel around that, you know, it was called Daniel Boone Village, that it had sold, and traffic would kind of slow down. We wouldn't see as many customers, and then that negotiation would not work out, and then it would start all over again. So I decided to close it, but the point is, when I closed it, Jason said, well, you're going to need another place that you love like that, and I want you to have this workshop. So isn't that just so sweet? He's amazing like that. So he fixed this up, cleaned it, painted it, and then, of course, I filled it up with stuff. So here is a current grungy journal. I really love this a lot. It's very crinkly, and it's got a combination of just the fabrics and things from the shop here. Like this is an old flour sack. We have a beautiful charm on the front, some of the bird fabric, different layers of antique fabric, and a lot of staining. There is some coffee staining in this one. Gracie, I know you're one of my friends out there who doesn't like to use coffee staining. I think I've got that right. And I never did either, but all of a sudden it doesn't bother me like it used to. There used to be something about the, I guess the scent of it when it dried, but it just really doesn't bother me anymore. And this is especially crinkly because it has got baking paper in it. And baking paper, of course, is meant to not really stick. So, you know, not everything sticks to this. Let's take a little bit of coffee and see what it does. I'm going to turn the dryer on. Let me grab a piece of fabric and just see. See, it kind of repels it. I don't know if you can see that, but it does take after some time because you can see coffee staining on the edges of some of these pages. That makes me think of, I do want to show you something that I love the way it turned out, and I think it would be amazing if you had a book where all the pages are the same size. I woke up the other morning thinking about journals, of course, and I just had this, it was almost like when I took a nap and I dreamed I had a hamster named Typewriter. It was very vivid, and it was right before I woke up, and I thought, how neat would it be to have a journal where all the pages are the same size and just put a layer of gold paint on the desk, you know, on the paper that, like there, and just dip it, you know. Somebody's probably already done that, but I kind of did it with this. This is just a little book inside this journal, and I did run the edges through the gold paint, and even though it's messy because the pages are different sizes and I sort of had to drag it through the paint, I love the way it turned out. I think it turned out pretty cool. Pages are stuck a little bit, but that's okay. So some of these are papers from my desk, and it's a little bit off center. We could probably modify the fold there. Then to bind it, I just put it under the presser foot. You can see where that one's a little off center, but that's okay. That's all right. You know, you put it on a zigzag stitch. I've explained that. Y'all are probably sick of hearing me talk about that, but it is a little trick that I love. If you put the length on 0, the needle's not going to move forward. So you can go back and forth at any size you want. I think that's the largest setting, which on mine is a 7, whatever that means. And this is just in the pocket in the front here. Other ephemera. I had a pretty little charm. I don't even know where it went. It was like a sticker, but it was raised. It looked like an old coin. And I decided to just lay the paper on it and see if it would trace the outline. It's okay. It's not really, really clear, but it gives this page a little bit of interest. Makes you stop and wonder what it is anyway. So there's old lace in here that's been coffee stained. That was just from a file folder that had different labels on it. I'm not quite done working in this one. If anybody's interested in this one, you can let me know in the comments. It's going to be available either tonight or tomorrow, I think. And I will probably just put that, oh, I like him. I will probably just put it on my website with, you know, with a PayPal link. I don't want to mess that up. That is one of those little metal design. It looks like a heart, kind of like a paper clip. But he's in this little piece of paper that's been sewn into a pocket. It says loan payment. And we've got this man that definitely looks like he could be a banker. And it says Dandy on the back, which looks like it ran a little bit. Let's see what happens if I can hear the neighbors next door. Dandy. Let's just put him to the side so he can dry. There you go, Mr. Dandy. We'll put this back. The chickens. You know, our neighbors got chickens, and I had a video that featured those little baby chicks. Oh goodness, probably a couple of months ago, and they've grown so fast. They come over here and get in the bird seed, which is funny. And one of them pecked this ring a couple of days ago. I put my hands down. They will come really close. They're really sweet. Maybe I can put some footage up here so you can see them. Maybe. I might run out of time. I don't know. I have a lot I have to do today. But this journal, got the word journal there. I love this crinkly paper. I was thinking, even if you don't work on it that much, it's like a layer between some of the pages. And I did just make some really quick flowers. I wrote everything is rosy. So there are a few little flowers through here. Butterfly stamps. Just lots of tea staining and coffee staining. Pretty fabric. I did this little ruffled, kind of different from the way I do the others. I didn't sew it directly onto the page. I just made a long, like a basting stitch, and then pulled it to get the ruffle, and then glued it into place so that we don't have the stitching on the other side. And that piece of lace is hand stitched. I like the way that the strings are hanging down, and that is upholstery thread, so it's really, really heavy. I love that crinkly. I could just sit out here and look at this journal all day. And of course the butterflies, I love to put those in and then put black alcohol ink on them. And there's a piece of fabric that's been stamped. The word junk. A lot of this paper, well, not, yeah, I guess I could use the word a lot, came from my art desk where I work on large pieces of paper. You can see that. And then it turns into something really amazing to work on. And, or not to work on, but to put in journals. And some butterfly pages. More of the paper ruffle. I need to get that relisted in the shop. I like this ruffle. It came from an anatomy book. And you can see the numbers that were corresponding to different illustrations in the book. Some stamping, more stamping. Let's see if that runs at all. Not really. I like to go back and, oh, I love the way that came through though. Now that's really neat. I had not seen that. You can see, I like the way the water pools around where the stitches go in. You do have to be careful. You all know that I've gone crazy before and gotten a little bit too much water on a page. People do their journals differently. Some people do all of the pages before they bind them, And then some people work on the pages after they're bound. And I do a little bit of both. Well, I should say I do a little bit of work before I bind, but a lot of mine is after it's bound into the journal. And there's just an old piece of ephemera. Sacred Heart College, Belmont, North Carolina. And this is a really cute note. It looks like it could be between maybe a couple of young girls. So, and I just put this little clip at the top. I need to be careful. That might not be the best clip for that page. I don't want to mess it up. That's one of those pins that came from a shirt. Let's find a better clip. I don't know, that one still might be too tight. It says, is Jim still on the, what shall I say, horizon, I guess. Give Buff, and they've got that in parentheses. My regards, please. I hope his health is in good condition. I danced a whole hour tonight without stopping. I am really proud of myself. I didn't know I could hold out so long. We went to the movies last Wednesday, and they were real nice. Isn't that just sounds so old-fashioned. Valentine has come. Oh, I think that's a poem somebody wrote. I don't know. That's harder to read, and I don't want to waste time just trying to figure it out here. Oh, that one's looser. That's better. Hope it's not too loose. We could choose not to read the ephemera, and then we could get sidetracked with a paper clip. There we go. So I think you get the idea. Oh, I love the way this turned out. So that's got lace sewn on it, and then I used the awl to just punch a hole and use a brad to put an old, it looks like a beer bottle cap, and it's a rusty piece I found, you know, wherever. I don't have any idea where I found that at this point. And then just more little flowers and butterflies. I do like that a lot. Music pages. So this one, oh, and I did something a little different this time. I sewed this piece of fabric to give a little place to write. But you know, sometimes it feels almost too heavy for a page. So I put some paper on each side of the page underneath the fabric before I stitched. And it's a lot sturdier at the top. And then there's just a pretty little scrap of paper with the roses. I think that looks really shabby. There's a tiny bit of glue under that as well to hold it into place. But the glue doesn't go all the way across, so it leaves that little area. And then there's one of the bees. Love working with those. And I will probably have these pockets filled before it's over with. Like this. There's a reproduction of an ad. That was from an old magazine I have from the late 1800s. And then that's some money from some sort of museum. I tea stained it and then distressed it. It's museum money. Like, it's not real money, but you know what I mean. Harvey money, whatever that is. Dictionary page. Stamping. Little piece of scrapbook paper. Another flower. And this was a really tall piece of paper. I just left it. I like it like that. You can see the paper doily. Layaway tag with a lot of distressing. And here are some old instructions for tic-tac-toe. And that was already stained. So put it in just like that. Oh, I bet the children are out of school today. That's why I'm hearing them out there. And then stamping. And that's just part of a file folder that's been distressed. Some ephemera there. and my stamp on the back. So this would be a really fun journal to write and play in and just put ephemera in, whatever you want to do. And I'm not done with this one yet. I will be back to show you when I'm ready to list this, but you know, if you're interested, you can let me know. I've been playing in this one for a while, so I'm thinking this one's going to be in the $65 range, and I'm not able to ship internationally. I'm so sorry about that right now. It's just, it takes so much effort to get all the forms filled out, and that's in addition to the exorbitant shipping cost on top of everything else. All right, I'm going to go because I have so much to do, but I did want to check in with everybody, and I'll be back really soon. Bye for now.